Beneath thy trees, within thy halls, dear college, we give praise to thee, to pledge ourselves whate'er befalls, to pledge unfailing loyalty. Our hearts are with thee, dear William and Mary, however far we stray. Our noble college, hear us now, thy children sing to thee today. Dear college, old in years and fame, and richly old in honors too, time shall not dull the shining name, whose gleam our songs will e'er renew. And as years go by, dear William and Mary, thy fame will never cease. But each new year you rejoice to see thy children's praise to thee increase. We honor thee not for our gain, but to make known thy majesty, thy truth and courage that remain, however harsh the face may be. As through troublous years, dear William and Mary, our country fought, so thou hast fought, and won and lived to hear thy children singing to thee now. O thou our guardian and our guide, renew our courage every hour, and keep thy spirit by our side, to aid us with its watchful power. Throughout our lives, dear William and Mary, we pledge our loyalty. Dear college, now and evermore, thy children cry, all hail to thee.
Good morning and welcome to the 2019 Alumni Medallion Ceremony Award. My name is Marilyn Medallion. I have the very great honor and privilege of being the Executive Director of your William & Mary Alumni Association. And I also want to thank our terrific board members of the association for hosting this wonderful event this morning. If I could have them stand and be recognized. I also want to thank our students and members of the William & Mary Choir under the direction of Jamie Armstrong for turning out on such an early hour on a Saturday morning. Having been a fellow member of the choir a long time ago, I remember thinking distinctly, I sure hope those alumni appreciate my dedication. But I'm here to tell you, we do appreciate your beautiful voices, we appreciate your talent, and we really appreciate you sharing it with us. Thank you so much. Yesterday's singing was beautiful as well. Our 326th birthday, I think, has been off to a smashing start, given all accounts from yesterday. And that's due in large part because not only are we celebrating the university's 326th birthday, but we had two very important moments as well, not only the inauguration of our 28th president, Catherine A. Rowe, but also the reinvestiture of our beloved Chancellor Robert M. Gates, who is very capably and willingly, thankfully for us, agreed to serve another 7-year term. So thank you very much. Now, Bea and Daniel would say, Mom, you've got this. My version of this is, you go, girl. And I'm also particularly looking forward to a lot of long passes and many second down conversions. Thank you. Yesterday's ceremony, 2-point, that's right, my husband just reminded me, it's not a second conversion or a third down, it's actually a 2-point conversion. I should know that. My father went to college on a football scholarship, and so did my brother, so I have no excuses other than just being really tired. Yesterday's ceremony was a moving reminder of the traditions and history of this university. And I think that block party was pretty fun as well. Chicken and waffles, s'mores, and an ice sculpture in 70-degree weather that somehow managed not to melt. Pretty amazing. We also had a tremendous evening last night at the annual Lord Botetourt Affair as it celebrated its 30th anniversary. And like so many things that we do, this weekend's events were only made possible by the dedication and devotion of our alumni, our volunteers, and our staff. And I'd like to thank everyone who's had a hand in putting this weekend on, including the inauguration, including Charter Day celebration itself, Lord Botetourt, the block party, anybody that's had a hand in any of this, please stand up and receive our grateful thanks. Established in 1934, the Alumni Medallion is the highest award alumni of William & Mary can receive. Today's presentation continues our proud tradition of honoring alumni for their professional accomplishments, service to their communities, the state, and our nation, as well as exceptional dedication to William & Mary. Some of our other prior recipients have joined us today, and I'd like them to stand as well. And now I'm pleased to introduce Robert N. Gates, a member of the class of 1965, and as of yesterday, as I said, officially reinvested as the university's chancellor for a second 7-year term. Bob has had a stellar career and spent 27 years working for 6 presidents. Let me underscore that, 6 presidents on both sides of the aisle. That is probably the most amazing feat of anybody on the face of the earth these days. And he was at the CIA and then Secretary of Defense in 2006. Upon his retirement, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he's also an accomplished writer and author of several books, and in 2000 received this very award, our Alumni Medallion. He and President Rowe will be discussing the role of higher education in encouraging civil discourse. The operative word is civil discourse. Later today at 1 o'clock, right back here in the Commonwealth Auditorium. So we hope you'll stay and join us for that following the Alumni Medallion ceremony and the reception that we'll be hosting afterwards. So Chancellor Gates, please join me at the podium.
Well, my watchword is that there is no such thing as a bad short speech. This is the 8th Alumni Medallion ceremony I've attended, 7 as chancellor and 1, as mentioned, as a recipient in 2000. But I would say this year is particularly meaningful. As I've said, William & Mary, this community of learning, listening, and working through issues rooted in the original soil and basic principles of American liberty, has a special role and a special obligation to be part of this solution. It's my great honor to have been reinvested as William & Mary's chancellor for another 7-year term. That honor is magnified by having been part of the inauguration of Catherine Rowe as the university's president, and the opportunity to work with her and support her. In these past months, it is clear to me that Catherine is a solution finder in the grand tradition of William & Mary and an ideal president. Since 1934, the association has awarded 302 alumni medallions, recognizing some of our most distinguished graduates. Today, we add 4 more to that number. Among the distinctions of the Alumni Medal It is one of the few William & Mary honors that Jefferson never received. Take that, Thomas. To Craig and Cynthia, well done and well deserved, and we remember fondly Nancy and Chris in bestowing their medallions posthumously. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. As president of the William & Mary Alumni Association, it is my privilege and pleasure to join Marilyn in welcoming you to this event. This is a celebration that draws the finest of the William & Mary community, alumni, students, faculty, staff, parents, and friends. We are especially honored today that many of our recipients' family members have joined us. This weekend, as Marilyn said, we celebrate both our university's 326th birthday, 326 years of history and new beginnings, with the inauguration of President Roe and the reinvestiture of Chancellor Gates. Yesterday, in the presence of thousands of alumni, thousands of alumni, students, faculty, staff, parents, and friends of the university, along with delegates from close to 100 schools far and wide, we saw very vividly that William & Mary continues to make a positive impact in the lives of so many, and that our future is bright. For 3¼ centuries, William & Mary alumni have impacted their communities and the world, and they continue to do so every day. The 4 that we honor today are among our university's most dedicated and accomplished alumni. Craig W. Broderick, class of 1981, and parent of an alumnus in the class of 2016, Cynthia Casson Morton, class of 1977, and 2 recipients that we are honoring posthumously, Nancy Burgess Goffus, class of 1975, and Christopher B. Powers, class of 1973, and a parent of an alumnus in the class of 2015. Our happiness is tinged with sadness as we remember Nancy and Chris, and I personally and dearly wish they could both be with us today as we celebrate their lives and accomplishments. They do shine brightly in our memories and in the lives of those they touched and in the university, and I'm grateful for their friends and family who are here today to honor them. I am so proud to award these medallions to Craig, Cynthia, Nancy, and Chris today. They have demonstrated a love of William & Mary and their communities in countless ways. Their creative energy, commitment, and guiding values inspire all of us, and we thank them for their leadership and for helping to shape William & Mary. We have prepared video introductions about each of our recipients and their achievements, featuring words from those who know each of them well. And we greatly appreciate the efforts of those folks who have contributed to the videos. At this point, we'd like to start our official presentation. Thank you.
Craig and I go bike riding often. It was a beautiful, sunny fall afternoon. We're riding along fast. We pass a car with 2 kind of sketchy looking characters leaning under the hood. I just hummed right by and noticed half a mile down the road Craig wasn't there. I turned back around and there he is under the hood trying to help them fix their car. If he saw someone in need, he would not turn away. He would run right toward that problem.
Well, Craig was the chief risk officer at Goldman Sachs, which is the person who ultimately is responsible for all of the risks that a risk-taking institution takes.
He is one of the most highly respected, influential members of the financial services industry globally.
Craig served for many years as chair of the investments committee of the foundation, which essentially is charged with managing the endowment. That's a very important role because growing that endowment enables scholarships and it enables investment and growth for the university.
You know, here he is, one of the busiest individuals in financial services, and he was always here for meetings. He was always available to students who were interested in financial services. And I think that he demonstrates that even the busiest person makes time for what's important.
Craig was an assistant scoutmaster of Troop 9 Greenwich. We were in the depths of the financial crisis at a time when a chief risk officer would be most called to be in the office and be on call, and Craig was out winter camping with us, and so he was incredibly dedicated to the boys, even though that was a time in his career when the challenges were very difficult.
For William and Mary students, I think he is one of the most valuable examples we have in terms of being a role model for alums, for young leaders.
Craig, this is something you deserve, not something you asked for or you need, and you're going to be uncomfortable in the limelight, and I'd say just get over it.
This is the right moment to stand up and be proud, and everyone who has had a chance to be a part of giving you this accolade is thrilled for you. It's well deserved. Thanks so much.
I know I am not alone in saying that you have made a big difference in the way I behave and the way many others act because of the example that you are. You have been immensely generous of your time, your talent, your treasure, and on behalf of William and Mary, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2019 Alumni Medallion recipient, Craig W. Broderick, class of 1981.
Wow, some of those pictures bring back happy memories. Some of those pictures bring back happy memories, others not so much. So I was a senior econ major, reasonably successful, and then in one senior class, my professor, Professor Archibald, asked us to do a verbal presentation to the class. It was the first time I'd done that, and I got through the process, and I sat down and I said, that was a complete and total disaster. And in the 40 years that have come, I've gotten a little bit better at public speaking, but not much, so I'll keep it mercifully short. It was a great experience at William & Mary. I had a chance to get a wonderful wife, which is most important, great education, a lot of fun, good friends that I've kept over a long period of time. I have had the chance to come back and serve in different capacities, which have been wonderful. A chance to meet professors, the administration, and the development staff. Lots of kids, many of whom we've hired into our business, and it's been just a great experience. You took on our youngest son, who had a similarly good experience here, for which we're very grateful, and it's been great, and I look forward to continuing the association. So thank you very much. For both Camille and I are very appreciative. Take care.
Cynthia is an outstanding scientist and researcher and educator. She isn't intimidating at all. She's encouraging, and I think that's a strength in a role model, to be encouraging and enthusiastic about her profession without pulling out all of the awards and honors that she has in fact received.
Cynthia has been involved in advancing research in women's health in numerous ways. A big focus in her research has been the study of the most common tumors in women, the uterine fibroids, discovery of genes, and characterizing the role of these genes is really essential as a starting point for advancing therapies in these conditions for women.
Cynthia and I met freshman year in our freshman dorm. Her passion for science and energy for life were immediately evident on that very first meeting.
She played a key leadership role early in the formation of the Graduate Studies Advisory Board and has continued to be a very active member of the board today.
We have had numerous students from William & Mary who have thrived and really grown as a result of Cynthia's mentorship and her providing this opportunity for them to be working at a top lab in the world. This has been a critical stepping stone for these students to then go on and pursue graduate and postgraduate training and become very successful and happy scientists.
I think Cynthia had such a positive experience at William & Mary in all of the activities, including Kappa Kappa Gamma, that she looks for every opportunity that she can give back, particularly to share with young women so that they can have a similar experience that she did.
She is in huge demand, and so it's particularly meaningful, and we're incredibly fortunate that she has been able to share with us so much of her time and her expertise and her experience.
Congratulations, Cynthia. I'm so happy for you. You are most deserving of this award, and I know you will go on to make many more contributions to both William & Mary and to the field of medicine and genetics.
My dearest Cynthia, many, many congratulations on this big honor. I'm not surprised at all. It's so well deserved.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2019 Alumni Medallion recipient, Dr. Cynthia Casson-Morton, class of 1977.
Good morning to newly inaugurated President Rowe and to newly reinvested Chancellor Gates. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am so humbled to share this ceremony with the other Medallion Award recipients. It has been my distinct pleasure to learn of the impressive contributions to William & Mary of the other awardees. And thank you, Craig, for sharing your life with us. And I so regret that I didn't personally know Nancy Burgess-Goffus or Christopher Powers. But speaking as a human geneticist, I appreciate that having family members present means that some of the secret special sauce, their DNA, of Nancy and Chris are here with us today. I'm also humbled to receive this award, knowing fully well that many of my classmates also belong on this stage. And it's my privilege to stand here to represent the innumerable contributions of so many. I'm reminded of the biblical passage with a bit of poetic liberty. To whom much is given, from him and her, much is expected. So my following remarks are all about thanks. I'll begin with my family, as without them, again spoken as a geneticist, I wouldn't be here. Thanks to my parents for all of their efforts in supporting me in graduating from this august institution, beginning with that initial trip to Colonial Williamsburg after 4th grade that led to my plan A, then, to attend the College of William & Mary, and there was no plan B, despite my guidance counselor telling me in 11th grade that students from Easton High School didn't get into William & Mary. And then there are my 3 siblings, all of whom graduated from William & Mary. as well as William and Mary grads, including my first cousin, once removed, Meredith Robinson Dory, who's here today, and in addition to 2 of my husband's cousins. Lastly, let me shout out to my husband, Bill, and son, Russell, and his fiancée, Emily, who are here, and to my daughter, Emily, who wasn't able to be here, who provide daily support and encouragement. With a home team like this, much was expected. Thanks, family. I owe so much to this great college as well. My journey here brought friendships for life, including Debbie Allison, my sophomore year roommate, who you met in the video, and my across the hall sophomore roommate, Cindy Bennett Satterwhite Jarbo, and many sisters in Kappa Kappa Gamma, including Carolyn Testarai, who is here today, and also to Mary Sue Hogan Sharp Babb. They're just continue to be the most wonderful friends and supporters. So thanks to all of you whose blood flows green for William and Mary. So I did have a bit of catch up to do when I arrived as a freshman and discovered that I was the only one in my calculus class who had not had pre-calc. But when I left here, I had all the tools I needed in the toolkit to be successful in graduate school. So I especially want to mention Dr. Bruce Grant, who was my William and Mary genetics professor, who in one memorable lecture turned me into the career that I've had as a human geneticist. I've really come to appreciate, looking back, about the importance of my teachers, which are abundantly good here at William and Mary. And I've actually tried to carry that mantle into my own teaching and mentoring of students. So when I began my laboratory in Boston, I knew where I would find the best educated biology undergrads to join me in my research, and that was right here. So I'll shout out to Nancy Ganji Robertson, who you heard in the video, Katie Rudd, Amelia Lindgren, Kristen Wong, and Mark Hayden. And let me bend your ears about them during the reception. So William and Mary will forever be a foundational dimension of who I have become. A lot started here for me, and I'm eternally grateful for that. To be a continuing member of this community is more than anyone could ask for. And in that regard, as a grown-up scientist, it's been so rewarding to be a member of the Graduate Studies Advisory Board. And I want to thank Laurie Sanderson for her initial leadership of the GSAB, and to Virginia Torkson for her present leadership. So I don't know how better to close these remarks than to say, hark upon the gale.
Nancy had a wonderful heart, but she had a will of iron too. And I came to know that and saw it. And it was that will of iron with that heart that made her so effective and powerful as a person.
Nancy was always kind of the marketing genius. She was known as someone who had a unique perspective, and I was privileged to run a company called XO Communications. When Nancy and I arrived, I think they were losing about $500 million. But we were able to get the company from minus 500 in cash flow to plus about 150. And I credit a lot of that work to Nancy's perspective on the market, the way we packaged our product, unified our rate structure, and executed.
I met Nancy when I started working at Volunteers of America, and at that time she was a member of the board. The mission of Volunteers of America is very compelling. Nancy's heart in wanting to help those who were vulnerable, that is what attracted her. It really resonated because it touched so many things that were important to her as a human being. I think of Nancy as understanding that we are a community of one, And I think her association at Volunteers of America really represented that and was really an underpinning of her volunteer work even at the College of William & Mary.
Well, Nancy's love of William & Mary was legendary, and she gave generously of her time, her money, and her leadership skills. Nancy was on several reunion committees. She was chair of the foundation board, and she was on the steering committee for the BOLD campaign.
William & Mary was not static for her. She saw its constant movement and was buoyed by that. She was not living in the past, so her experiences were true to her, but in her leadership role, she really envisioned and embraced and wanted this forward trajectory for the college, and that was the beauty and the balance that she brought.
Colleges and universities in large measure are evaluated upon the quality and character of their graduates, and I can't think of a finer person that represent William & Mary than Nancy.
She was someone, you know, kind of a secret weapon almost. Someone in their corner always, and I don't know that there could ever be another Nancy. She was special.
Congratulations, Nancy, for a job well done.
Well deserved, job well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Gophus, 2018 honorary alumnus, accepting the 2019 Alumni Medallion on behalf of Nancy Burgess Gophus, class of 1975.
Wow. Mitch and the team that put that together, thank you so much. That was a beautiful video. Chancellor Gates, President Rowe, Marilyn, Sue, members of the boards, alumni, friends, and family. On behalf of Nancy, I thank you so much for this honor. For many years, Nancy and I sat in this hall, listened to the achievements and the accomplishments and all the great things of so many people that have received this award. And I know that Nancy never thought that she would deserve that. She knew that she wasn't the best, the brightest, the most talented of the people that were around her. So she knew that she had to work extra hard and do as many things as possible in order to, make a difference. And when she graduated from the college, she was a Phi Beta Kappa and officer of her class. And from what they tell me, she made a difference. She certainly made a difference to me. She went out into the business world. She discovered that she had a way of seeing the big picture and of figuring out what needed to be done, of being able to speak to people and inspire them or coach them into doing what they could to make those things happen. And I think she learned a lot of those skills right here at the College of William & Mary. She was great at organizing. She took those skills into the nonprofit world at the places that she really spoke to her as accomplishing things that she wanted to accomplish. And Volunteers of America and giving back to the college and her church. Those were all really important to her. Those organizations all had many successes. They got recognition and awards for those accomplishments. But you know, over the last year and a half, I have found what I think would be even more important to Nancy, and that is the many personal notes that I got from people talking about how she had individually helped them to see what they could do and to make a difference, that they could go out and accomplish things they didn't know they could do. And I know that would mean a lot to her. But I know that she is most proud of the 2 children that we raised, their spouses, and our grandchildren. That's her biggest accomplishment in her mind, I know. And finally, Marilyn had touched upon it, but I wanted to say a special thanks to the choir as well. We've been here many years, sitting in this room. The faces and the voices change, but you guys tie together the whole Charter Day weekend. The beautiful music, that's always one of the things that I remember most, is just how you bring it all together. And so when Nancy would speak to students, and she really liked to speak to students, she would always remind them of what opportunity they have to be here, and to remember that that opportunity came from the people that had come before. So I'm going to be bold and try to speak for Nancy, and say to the members of the choir and any other students that are here that most of the folks in this room, they are well on their way in their lives and their careers, but you guys are just getting started. So remember to find things that excite you, that give you passion. Go out, do your best to make a difference in the world, to inspire others, and you never know, one day you might be standing up here holding one of these. So on behalf of Nancy, thank you all so very much.
When we were undergrads, I don't think any of us had any idea that we would be so involved in William and Mary 40 years later. Perhaps if there was any indication that our involvement with the college might be substantial in the future, it was our love of the place. Chris, like so many William and Mary alumni, felt a visceral connection with the college from his undergraduate experience. He saw a responsibility to the college to help it achieve its goals, and he threw himself into annual giving as one way he could move the needle for the college, and he really did. One of the reasons we became the public university in the country with the highest annual giving rate was Chris Powers.
I first met Chris in 2006, and he was overseeing and conducting the audit with the National Runaway Safe Line, a not-for-profit national agency that I was the executive director of. We all know that expression, pay it forward. I think if we had a poster child for pay it forward, it would be Chris, because that's the kind of spirit that he embraced.
He had a passion for helping people, and every Tuesday and Thursday night, Chris was at the Juvenile Detention Center, mentoring the people there. He always went the extra mile.
Chris saw the world through the lens of, how do I help others? How do I give back? That's the reason I really believe that Chris personified William and Mary, which is to see the whole world and figure out your place in it, but also understand that you are to engage. And through that engagement, you play a role really in helping everyone. And it is something that Chris practiced every day of his life.
He really understood that anybody could find themselves in a tenable situation. And I feel that Chris could look beyond that situation and see the human suffering and do what he could to help.
Mentor, friend, father figure, just everything. Anybody who has spent time out their life to go down to the juvenile detention center, come down to my house on the south side of Chicago and let people in his house, feed them, and just mentor them, I think he's, very deserving of the award.
Chris, this medallion is intended to reflect alumni who embody the essence of the college, the values that are taught here, the ability to find your way in the world as a successful William & Mary alum. And you did that better than any of us. You are someone that we will never forget. Chris, no one could be more deserving.
Congratulations, Chris, on the Alumni Medallion.
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to say, tell you that I love you. Keep looking down on me, and I hope you're proud of me. Congratulations on the Alumni Medallion Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Captain Ted Powers, accepting the 2019 Alumni Medallion on behalf of Christopher B. Powers, class of 1973.
Our dad, if he'd been here today to accept this award for himself at this college that he loved so dearly, would have leaned over the podium like this, used his hands like that, a half smile and a glint in his eye, and he would have talked to all of you as if he was talking to each of you individually. But not even this medal could have tempted him to speak highly of himself. He was the great congratulator who, if you told him good news on the phone, would put the phone down, clap for about 10 seconds, and tell you how proud he was of you. But he reserved no congratulations for himself, so today we'll do it for him. For my dad, his life was not about him. It was about the team. His passion for sports, already fully ingrained by the time he put on a Tribe freshman basketball jersey, defined him. The concept of intense competition, where one pushes himself to his limit as part of a team working toward a common goal, informed the way that he approached life. That team spirit animated his life, and his lifelong endeavor flowed from it to lift up young people to their highest attainable level, an endeavor that this college shares. As a servant leader, he saw every facet of his life, personal, professional, and spiritual, as an opportunity to better others. He saw accounting as more than just an exercise in billing hours, but as an opportunity to build financial solvency in nonprofits whose missions he believed in. He saw coaching his son's sports teams not as an exercise in herding sheep, but as an opportunity to teach young men hard work and discipline. Where others saw boxes to check or people to scold, he saw groups to affect and women and men to mold. He didn't try to snap his fingers and fix people. He knew from his own journey that real progress is slow, nonlinear, and hard. In his last year, he befriended a man in D.C. named Roman, a Lebanese immigrant and heroin addict who slept in a U-Haul truck by night and panhandled by day. He would bring Roman sandwiches or a six-pack of beers for the two to share while they sat and talked for hours on the sidewalk. On the day after Christmas 2016, within my dad's last 72 hours, he spent all day getting Roman admitted into drug rehab. Today, Roman is clean and working, living in a house in Alexandria, all because a man believed in him. His transformative ability was the result of a double vision: to simultaneously understand your current reality and yet be able to look past you into what you can become. It's why he spent so much time ministering in a Chicago juvenile detention facility. He once wrote, "My job in interactions with these young people is to be present to them and give them hope to whatever degree possible at this time in their fragile lives." And for many, that presence extended beyond their sentences into their resocialization and lives as citizens, fathers, and husbands. He saw education as the key to that transformation and advancement. His William and Mary diploma was but a stepping stone, not a capstone. He went on to earn an accounting degree from Virginia Commonwealth University, a Northwestern MBA while working and helping to raise my older brother Luke, and a Master's of Theology from Loyola Chicago at the age of 63. And what probably made him prouder than his own educational achievements is the fact that his son Jack would earn a William and Mary diploma as well. His dedication to lifelong learning was matched by lifelong teaching. I remember my dad coaching 5th grade basketball practice. Instead of talking us through the mechanics of a strong box-out position, he put the clipboard down, and I'll never forget him boxing out a scrawny 10-year-old. As he showed us more than he told us how to box out, he showed us how to live. He believed in bothering to connect. He read every cashier's name tape and referred to them by their name. Bothering to connect meant more than just hit-and-run kindness on unsuspecting strangers. It meant having a deep connection with his family. He checked in regularly not only with his sons and his siblings, but also aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, and nieces to make sure everyone knew that he was thinking about them and that he loved them. His signature achievement is the way that he lived on a day-to-day basis with a constant external focus on the team more than himself. Though his transformational influence remains alive, he passes on his work to those teams, the ones he found by birth, love, and luck. So here on the campus where he entered adulthood and the town where he rests today, we accept not just this medallion, but the charge of his life to keep alive that commitment to our fellow man to which he was called and which the example of his life calls us to. So on behalf of my brothers, Nora, all of my family, and all of his friends, thank you for this tremendous tribute to my dad, and may God continue to bless the College of William and Mary.
Thank you, Craig, Cynthia, Joe, and Teddy. We really appreciate your remarks, and they are so inspiring and uplifting. Thank you very much. We'd like to invite everyone to join us for a reception immediately following the ceremony upstairs in the Chesapeake rooms. We look forward to hosting many wonderful future receptions in the new Alumni House, which should be online in spring of 2020. The expanded house will be ready to welcome everyone, and we do mean everyone. After the reception, please do return to this theater for Chancellor Gates and President Rowe's presentation, discussion. Thank you again, and we look forward to having you join us upstairs. Thank you.
Shenandoah. When we're bound away across the wide Missouri. 'Tis 7 years since last I sailed on dear roaring river. 'Tis 7 years since last I sailed and we're bound away across the wide Missouri. The wide Missouri.
I'm not allowed to make any noise at all in this music participation, so this is my expression of holding power, not having power. There we go.
Hark the students' voices swelling, strong and true and clear. Alma Mater's love they're telling, ringing far and near. William and Mary, loved of old, hark upon the gale. Hear the thunder of our chorus, Alma Mater hail. God our Father, hear our voices, listen to our cry. Bless the college of our fathers, let her never die. William and Mary, loved of old, hark upon the gale. Hear the thunder